3, 2.
We're going. We're going?
We're going.
We're going. This seat, man. I love it. High Button Sports. This is the High Button Podcast. Dudes, Jeff. We're in the future. No flying cars yet, but 2024, we're in it. What's that? What's the show or the intro? The Jetsons? They're flying around?
It is the Jetsons.
The Jetsons? You know, that's what I thought 2024 would look like, but it's good enough. You got cars driving themselves. You got the AI doing everything for you.
Robots.
Chat, PPP. You got... What else you got that's doing everything for you?
Chat, PPP.
Someone sent a link the other day. You know, for streams, there's like little computers that like follow the puck for you. You don't even need a camera guy anymore. Do you see that?
Ooh, don't promote that.
Oh no, the reviews were awful.
Okay.
I don't care. And there's anyways, we're in the future.
Mm-hmm. That's the point.
Yeah, life's good. I feel good. I am happy, and that's what they say success is. If you're happy, feel good, love your family, family loves you. You're busy. You're up. You're every day. What do you want? What more do you want?
I can't think of much.
That's good, right?
Yeah.
Could be mixing concrete and wherever right now, you know?
You kind of sounded like we were like your therapist or something. You're like, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm successful.
Yeah, like I'm trying to convince you guys. Like,
Yeah.
I'm good, right?
That's the first step, Justin. Good job.
Yeah, life's good.
I'll take it.
Absolutely, man.
But we all do know that this is we're flat out from now till June. Well, apparently we got some baseball contracts, so we're gonna I don't even know if I'll be able to golf this summer, but we're flat out from now on till the wedding. So it's gonna be good. I'm happy. You're good. Everyone, calm down. Dudes, how are you?
Doing good, buddy. Ready for the IceJam. That's obviously the next step for us. It feels a lot different than it did last year.
How so?
I would say last year there was a lot more unknowns for anybody that may not know. I mean, like we dropped the website for the first time last year during the IceJam. We had our ups and downs for sure, but I just feel like we're more prepared this year. And I think everybody knows, especially us here, that the more preparation you can do, I don't think you can over prepare, I think is my point. And you know what they say, preparation plus something else equals success, right? So
opportunity, preparation plus opportunity meets.
So just like knowing kind of what we're getting into, I guess, is a big thing. But I would say the main point is we did take a lot of the stuff that we had feedback from last year, good or bad, and we did consider a lot of that stuff, and we kind of pinpointed a new direction for it. So with any luck, it'll be a lot more smoothly run, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm doing good, man. We're busy. The new year, 2024. I'm still saying 2023 to most people, but we'll get in the groove, but I'm good overall, boys.
I love it. Jeff, how are you?
Good.
Are you on camera 3?
Right on the back. Right on camera 3. Right on the back of that one.
Okay,
ready to go.
Tell everyone how you're feeling.
Oh, feeling good. Like you said, a lot. The pit is a little smaller than it was last year, so I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to go. You know, put myself on some good games. Get to watch some U18. You know, that's how it goes. It'll be a good time. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Life's good. I'm excited. It's fun going towards a problem, knowing how to solve it, and all you need to do is work. Like when you're trying to get from point A to point B and you don't know how to get to point B, that could be a little bit frustrating. But knowing how to get from point A to point B, it's kind of exciting because then you get to challenge yourself with new things, new possibilities, new relationships, new avenues, new everything. Just knowing your circumstances and knowing what your surroundings are for the next 5 days are it's just a little bit more comforting knowing what you're going into rather than last year, the first time ever someone said High Button Sports sucks. You know, you got 124 people, 124 games, people watching the live streams, and, you know, not everyone's going to figure it out right away. Someone goes High Button sucks for the first time. It hits you right here.
Mm-hmm.
Hits you in the, wherever the soul is of your body. That's the heart, but the soul is everywhere. It crushes you. And that was a big learning step for me to understand that not everyone's going to love you. Not everyone's going to love your product. Not everyone's going to move forward and love High Button Sports, but that's okay with me because how arrogant would I have to be to assume that everyone loves what I do? You know,
Yeah.
You know, I don't love what some other people do. It is what it is.
That's right.
We keep moving forward, but we're, man, it's that feeling. You just wish you could start today, you know? High Button IceJam.
It's the anticipation,
Yeah.
right? It's the same when we played, man. Like, and I still get kind of antsy even just for like beer league games or ball games and stuff. And it's not that I'm nervous or whatever. It's just like you've been anticipating this maybe all day, all week. In our case, all year since last year ended. So you just like when you feel prepared, you want to get going, right? It's the same when you're going into a game. Some games you're nervous because you don't feel right, or you didn't get the right pregame meal, or you messed up taping your stick, or whatever the case may be. But when you're in something and you're like, okay, I'm prepared. I did everything I could to get ready for this. I'm anxious. Let's get it going, right? But when the time comes, we all know how it is. It's tiring. Like, for people that may not realize, we're in the rink at 7 o'clock every morning, and we're there till 11:30 every night, and we're fielding comments and emails, and we're streaming, and we're troubleshooting, and it's a lot, right? I'm not sitting here complaining and asking for people to feel bad for us, but it's just like, maybe when you go to say something really shitty, just think for a sec. These guys, we're here and we want to give you the best product. There's not a single part of us that goes, it's just this game. It's just this league. It's no big deal if it messes up.
Well, we had did you see that message I'm not going to say who sent it, but
No.
we had a great message on Instagram the other day, and it really resonated with me. I won't read the whole message, but there was a part that said, "You've tapped into a dream for every kid playing in Nova Scotia right now, which is hearing someone call out their name when they score a goal, just like they've scored in the NHL. Wish I had that back in the day." And that, I don't know if you've listened to this podcast for years on years, the main business goal, our objective, or whatever you want it to be, is just to make people feel like they're in the NHL. Hockey is a great sport. The people in it are great. The culture is great. Everything about it is great. But one thing about it, most kids don't get to the pinnacle of it.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can help get kids to the pinnacle of it in terms of outside of the rink, feeling special, getting a nice goal called, a great commentary call,
Mm-hmm.
we'll do that. That's the fabric of the company. It's just making people feel special whenever they put a hockey jersey on and whenever they step inside a rink and there's a high button camera rolling. That's just kind of what keeps the juices flowing, because we all played it. We all know what it's like to walk into a rink. You got a suit on, maybe someone's snapping a picture of you, you get a nice goal, nice celly, someone records it, someone puts it on YouTube, you show your friends. And the most important thing to me is not necessarily right now, right this second. It's 20, 30, 40 years down the line when you and your buddies are having a beer in the basement. You go, remember when dudes did this? When he was playing for the Max and he flipped this guy over into the bench, and unfortunately for our generation, we call bullshit. We go, what? I don't remember that. What? But now this new generation, boom, they got it. Let's pull it up. High button, January 7th, 2024. Right there. That's it. Right there. Boom. Have a couple beers and you get to talk about it. It's I know how happy these kids are going to feel when they're grown men and they get to show these clips to their kids, to their grandchildren. It's special. And that message we got last night when I was in bed on Instagram, it just hit home. Kind of cool. You got to remind yourself why we do this,
I kind of, when you read that message, I kind of got not choked up, but maybe chills more or less.
Yeah.
Because you nailed it on the head, and that's what it is. Then that's where it started for us for the beginning of this is how can we, because how often do we talk about going into the max room or the major midget room for the first time, and you got your dressing room and you got the stall, and it's a pro-like feel. There's tape on the table. Yeah. And then you mix in streams and mic'd ups and interviews and stuff like that. And then now, another thing is the kids get a taste for it. So they're like, ooh, this is fun. Like, imagine if I was like really good and at the next level, how much better that would be too. So it's at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do is make it a wicked ass time for these kids.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get to do it.
100%. Speaking of something else that's new, that's coming up, that's had a great first couple of weeks, the women's professional league.
Yeah.
It's what you were telling me right before the podcast started. The numbers are high, the physicality is high, and people are having an interest in it. Tell me a little bit more about what you think.
Well, I'll first say that I watched every game so far. So when PWHL. So when I give my take, just know that I watched. Even Lise was watching with me, right? I've watched a million hockey games in our house, and she's never once really paid attention. So that's the first thing I'll say. The second thing is 2.9 million viewers on opening day. And I said this to you guys in the car earlier. Fantastic marketing of the league, because that was New Year's Day. There's no World Junior Games. There's the Winter Classic at 4. So what do? They put their opener at 1 o'clock. Okay? That's a good time. Everyone's home. People are most likely hungover. And what a great thing to watch, especially for the females, right? It's a day in history. That's why I tuned in. But 2.9 million viewers on the broadcast stations, TSN, Sportsnet, all that. But then another 15 to 20K on YouTube. So the thing that they do for that is they offer a YouTube stream as well for people without TV, which is the majority of people these days. So they offer that as well. Lots of Nova Scotia talent in it. There's a couple New Brunswick girls in it. There's some Newfoundland.
Europe too, right? Like,
Europe, man. There's Austria, Czechia, this. And this is just year one. And they kind of, I'm not going to say rushed into it, but they really wanted to get it going this year. And that's, kudos to them, because it's not an easy thing to do. But the games I've watched, man, and I learned this about the female game, there's always been body contact allowed Okay, no body checking, big difference.
What's the difference? Explain to people.
So body checking is, you can tell an intent. So body checking for the most part in the book goes open ice. Okay, so there's no open ice hitting in women's hockey. You can bump and use your body position and all that stuff. But if you watch these games, man, the intensity on the boards, they're running people, they're scrums after the whistle, they're punching each other. A lot of these women played like international together, and they have just turned it off. But with that being said, there's something to play for, right? I find it a little more intense right now than the average NHL game, just because, like I said, they have the NHL is always going to be here. Those guys always have that league. There's pro leagues everywhere, so there's not many for females. So their lives and their families' lives and the future generation of hockey for females is in their hands right now, and that's a lot of pressure, and I think they've done a fantastic job. I've watched every game start to finish. There's huge hits. So like I was saying with the hitting, though, you're allowed to hit on the wall, like body contact. You're allowed to use it. The ref's discretion always. It's just not been ref the greatest. You can tell when someone's going to separate for the puck or if it's just a hit. So they've been calling it really good. The refs have been letting them play.
You got to let them play.
You got to let them play because you got to show what, they're out there blocking shots. They're fighting through injuries already. Like, I love that shit, man. That's part of the game. And, yeah, man, they get sold out. You can't get tickets. People are scalping tickets out front. Like, it's just so far so good. New year, new league. And I think Jill Saunier said it the best. She was in the rink at a young girls game, posted something on Instagram, I think it was, and it was a little bit more excitement in the rink today for these young girls knowing that they have something bigger to dream for.
Definitely.
Right? And, that's awesome. And it's nice to have people from here, Troy Ryan, Corey Chevry, Blair Turnbull, obviously Jill, Allie Monroe, Carly Jackson. Those are the people from this part of our woods, all there taking it in. So there's role models for everybody coming up, and that's great, and that's good for us as well.
It's a big part of it. It's something us as men never really think about because we always just look up to the NHL superstars. We've always had, I guess, someone to look up to, and that's something to chase, to shoot pucks. I want to shoot a puck like Sid. I'm going to shoot in the driveway 24/7. For the females, maybe not so much in terms of the role model, but if they can market these hockey players in order to turn them into superstars, or at least stars, it gives the girls something to look forward to and something to work towards.
Absolutely.
Why would you want to work towards something that's not going to be there in 10 years? We always know the NHL is going to be there, but girls hockey, if they can keep these role models paid, basically, they're always going to be there. So we'll see what happens from it. But
it's going to open up some doors for sure, boys. And like I said, they've been great games. So if you haven't watched, I would.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, my prof at school from a few years ago, she tried to take over. She took over like the head of one of those other older leagues, and I knew there was quite a lot to sort out to get to this point.
Oh, yeah?
This is years ago. This is when they were trying to make other ones work, so it is nice to see it all come together, all the Nova Scotia athletes. Sarah Nurse is out there, I think, right?
Yep.
Like, it's
Spooner,
it's good to
Poulin,
see. Yeah, so... Yeah, I know a lot of back. You can only imagine the back work that went into it. And to your point, they're playing quick and they don't have names necessarily for the teams yet because I think they promised the girls that they would be up quick. They would be running sooner rather than later, and that's why it kind of started in the new year.
Yep.
Maybe like a half season or whatever they're going to do, and then it can fully. But they made a commitment to their girl. They wanted to play. They were like, listen, if you guys can all commit, all the best players, Hillary Knight, then we'll make it happen. And to their credit, here they are selling out games a few months later. That's not an easy task.
Man,
I'm excited to see how it plays out, like just the business side of it.
Yeah,
you just want to see how it all works out.
They've done a great job so far, man.
Yeah.
Like, even their website, super user friendly. It has write-ups on every player, when they got drafted, where they played, what they did, what awards they won. Like, everything's live in game. So like when I watched the first game, obviously with the Nova Scotia players, I wanted to be the first one to see it and see it live. But they got it up on the website before sometimes the TV even plays it. So it's like they've done a great job. They played that game when there's no other games, and if they can continue to do this, man, it's not going to not pick up, man. There's the hockey world is filled with the female players now, and Jill always used to say this too. She's like, I played guys because there was no girls.
Yeah,
and then eventually you do know that funnel is going to be capped off at some point because you can go to college and stuff like that, but what do you do after? Like, how many hockey guys do you see go play university and then play pro after? Like, that's just kind of the cycle of how it goes. And for these girls to be able to have that, it's just awesome, man, because, I got a special part for Jill, and so do you. I played with her. We grew up with her. So you obviously want to see those people do good, but just for the females as a whole, man, it's great.
Shout out to Jill. if you guys are Kyle Davidson right now, the GM of the Chicago Blackhawks, and your star pupil breaks his jaw, but you know that the All-Star game is coming to Toronto in a couple weeks, and like the whole season still has to go on. What's your timeline with Bedard? Do you ease him in? Do you say no chance in hell you're going to the All-Star game, even though it's not a physical game? Well, what do you do right now if you're Kyle Davidson and the GM of the Chicago Blackhawks? It's a tough one because there's no point rushing them back. They suck.
There's no
He
right
knows
answer.
it. Broken jaw, they're saying?
Yeah.
4 to 6 weeks. That's usually
so
what it is.
Yes.
And I think that's around the same timeline potentially as the All-Star game. If you're Bettman, obviously you're saying get him back right now.
Yeah.
But if you're Kyle,
I'm gonna piss
you're
off.
you're taking the slow road back. You're still selling jerseys.
You want Celebrini too. You keep him out.
Well said. You want Celebrini. He's a good player.
Definitely.
He's great.
He was good.
I don't know. I think if you're in his position, Kyle, that is, you take your time. The city's going to pressure you. Bettman's going to pressure you. Everyone's going to pressure you. Probably even Bedard's going to pressure you. I want to be back. I want to be back. I want to be back. But this is kind of where great GMs become great, making right decisions. I don't know what the right decision is. Bring him back. Don't bring him back. But whatever his decision is, it has to be the right one. And Chicago right now has been known for the past couple of years to not make the right decision.
Yeah.
In terms of the whole sexual thing, it's not that this has anything to do with that, but it's just if you're, you got to make the right decision here.
Extra limelight for him, anyways.
Didn't something happen this year with Chicago too, with the whole sexual?
I think something just
resurfaced. Corey Perry.
Yeah. I don't know. Everything surrounding Bedard.
Yeah.
Everything. The whole world's watching. Not even the hockey world, the sports world. And with Toronto, the hockey mecca, well, one of them, Montreal being the other, which I'm going to next week, a couple weeks from now. Dobson, I'm going to see.
Nice.
You got to make the right decision. What do you think? What would you do?
Oh, man. See, the whole time you were talking there, I'm trying to think of what to say.
You're not even listening to what I'm
saying.
saying.
I am listening.
I'm going to see Dobson in Montreal.
I got that part. That's actually the part I did get.
Hopefully Newhook's back.
Oh, yeah, that's right, too.
Sorry to get
You're going to go down to the bench and interview Dawson?
Yeah, I'm going
like
to climb the bench or climb the glass like Billy. Let's go.
My friends. Davidson. Okay, so people may not like this from me, but...
Should you say it then?
Yes. A broken jaw... I mean, I get keeping him out of games for a little bit. He's a little bit smaller, so his face tends to run in to more bodies than not.
Shoulders.
From that point of view. But I think this is just my old school way of thinking. But there's no way I'm missing games for a broken jaw. Maybe a couple. It has no effect on your actual skill set. I know you got to protect him. He's 18.
But that's what I'm saying. Bedard might be mad at Kyle because Kyle wants to keep him out. If you're Bedard, like I remember when Chicago had Michael Jordan at the beginning. Michael rolled his ankle. And he's like, I can play. Yeah. But the GM's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, different scenario, but I get what you're saying.
It's like,
but for me, I think you'd let him go to the All-Star game. When is he going to get hit in the face?
No.
My question is his jaw wired shut? Right?
Yeah.
Because that's uncomfortable is the first thing I think of for him. But, I mean, come on. He just got signed to the All-Star, or named to the All-Star game as the youngest player to ever do it. He's got a broken jaw. If he had a broken foot or a leg or a separated shoulder or something and he had to get surgery other than his face, I say no chance in hell you let him go. But if it were me, I'm letting him go to the All-Star game and then he's sitting out for a bit. I'm giving you this. Here, listen, I'll give you the All-Star game. I get this moment. But after that, we're gonna recoup this.
But that's the play that looks bad. Imagine if Kyle's like, yeah, go to the All-Star game, but then come back and you're not playing in these games.
Yeah.
It's like, why even risk him going to the All-Star game? That's what I'm saying. This decision is like...
It's just low risk in my mind. Like putting him in games and where he runs the entire Blackhawks fucking organization at this point. He carries the load. He carries the puck. He's the star. Everyone's looking out for him.
Jersey sales.
That's it. So what I'm saying is the people that are going to the All-Star game, those are the fans that want to see the best players. Send him. He's doing accuracy shooting.
Yeah.
Don't let him play in the All-Star game. Let him do the skills.
Yeah.
Let him be there. Get around the guys, that kind of shit. Let him do the skills. Take him out of the game and just tell him, listen, I'm going to do this for you. Unfortunately, you're not 30. You're 18. You're the future of this goddamn franchise and, quite frankly, the NHL. Yeah. Okay? We can't afford to have you in here and get worse. With that being said, the Celebrini thing is keep him out as well. Maybe tank a little longer, because right now they did their lines in practice on Twitter today, and half the guys I don't even know who the fuck they are.
It's so ugly.
It's like the Rockford Ice Hogs.
Kind of smart.
Right? So there's the double-edged sword, but I think skills competition, go. Let them be a part of the festivities. Keep them out of the game.
Sell the game.
Sell the game. Let the fans be happy. Keep them off your back. And then you know what? Tough titties. He's not playing when he comes back. He's going to do this the right way. They're not pushing for a playoff spot. They're not fighting for points. he can still practice on his own. He can do all that shit. Man, he broke his wrist and became better from it back in the day. Like he's wired differently, no pun intended, with the jaw. But I just think that's what I would do. And my old school mentality is like the jaw's a long way from the heart.
100%.
So
yeah, if this is a Stanley Cup playoffs, he's playing.
Yeah.
He's got the bubble on next shift.
I immediately think it's like Stevie Eisman in those scenarios. He broke his leg and played. Fractured.
I think
sorry.
of Morgan Barron.
Yeah.
Stitches.
10 minutes. He's like going back. But yeah, so that's my thought process on it. Maybe it wasn't as what's the word I'm looking for? Controversial as I thought it was going to be, but yeah.
It's not, but I just thought of Kyle right away. What's he going to do? Because it's his call. It is the doctor's call, but it's his call.
Yep.
You're going back out or you're not going back out. And it's kind of cool to think, like Bedard's played well this year, but we've seen his best hockey at the World Juniors in the past 2 to 3 years. Like we are so fortunate, so lucky. We get to see him on TV, but he's not doing the things he's doing in the NHL that he was doing at the World Juniors.
It's not the same TV.
All that as well, but just the pure dominance, the snipes, the patience. The
thing about Bedard, this would have been his first of age year to play in the World Juniors, like no bubble.
Yeah.
And he could play for another 2, right? But it's just like that's pretty wild that he did that.
That makes me think they might not let him play the All-Star game because they didn't even let him sniff World Juniors.
Oh my God, no. They would never let him sniff.
But if Bedard played 2 or 6 minutes a game to start the year, because Kirby Dach, for example, he came up and played with Chicago, I think it was, and they lent him back to the World Juniors, broke his wrist. That's part of it. But the other thing is, same with Poitras, the guy from Boston. The reason they sent him there is because he's playing 6 to 8 minutes a game. You're not developing as much as you could, so let him go down there, play against the best in the world, get the confidence back, and then come back. He comes back and he gets 2 assists or whatever in the first game. So it's like there's different scenarios. When Bedard's your top guy, he's going to be there the whole time. You know it. He ain't going nowhere. You don't risk him down in the World Juniors because here's the thing. I don't care if it's international hockey or not. People are going to target him. Especially after he undressed the entire Slovakia country last year in the semifinals or the quarterfinals on that goal. You don't think they're going to remember that shit? You know what I mean? So he's going to be a target out there. He's the young star, the next up. I'm not saying people are going to kill him like the old days, but it's just different, right? Yeah. You can't risk it.
Yeah, 100%.
He's playing 25 minutes a game.
In Chicago?
At least.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there's a big difference between 25 and 6.
Right.
Definitely. That's a whole different stratosphere.
Exactly. So no, you're not going down.
I did notice when Canada was out, though, Twitter eased up a bit. Canada won 3 golds, back to back to back, 3 in a row. Okay, there wasn't a lot of bullying. There wasn't a lot of harassing. There wasn't a lot of. It was like, all right, like we know we're the best country. What was it? 5 guys we left out of the World Junior team because they're all in the NHL. We know we're the best. It's just we're too good. We got to let guys go to the NHL and make some money. And I was very you hear these Twitter accounts and people, going at players, going at teams, going at, and I loved how the Canadian people kind of let it be. Like, Furlong apologized to Canada. It's like, man, you don't need to. Like, you gave it everything you had. You came up short. You'll learn from this. You'll become a better person, a better player, and you'll move on. Come get a Memorial Cup with the Mooseheads. But, like, I was very proud of our country, how we handled that loss, at least on Twitter and in terms of the media.
This time,
no one was... No one was too bad. I liked it.
Honestly, my question, I've been thinking about this since Canada went out and US won. As much as I would like, Canada gold, stack them up, it's impressive. I do think it does kind of help the game when US gets its gold. US got a gold a couple of years ago. They got it this year. As a fan of hockey, I would like to see the game grow in America, especially because that's where the NHL is, based out of at this point. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, do I like to see America win gold over Canada in hockey, like our sport? No, but for the growth of the game, I don't mind, throwing them a gold medal every couple of years. Hopefully we go on another 3-year run or whatever. We've all dealt with that. We've all dealt with the hard losses with World Juniors before. Like, it's nothing new.
It's a real bummer that Russia's not in there. I hope the kids that didn't do anything. I just hope they're allowed back in. I know it's tough, but oh, man, it makes the tournament so much better.
So true.
It's just there's such a different style of game. They got the speed, they got the physicality, they have the smarts, they have almost kind of a very similar game to Canada. But I don't know. It just it heavily takes away from the tournament. Unfortunately,
evens up the divisions too.
Yeah,
it's kind of uneven when you take out a power host like Russia. There's always like one stacked division.
I wonder if they'll ever let them back in.
Well, once they stop being idiots, maybe.
Are they still being idiots?
Well, there was bombings yesterday, I'm pretty sure. But I want to say something on that note because I saw that Matvei Michkov put out a statement, not sure if it was real or not, saying that he thinks that Russia would have won if they got to go to the World Juniors. And then it made me do some research. And I'm like, okay, I remember Russia being good. I remember fearing them watching the games going, okay, this is Russia. Like, this, we could easily lose this game.
That's embedded in your heart from them winning
But
Halifax.
if you look back, Russia's only won 1 gold medal in like the last 20 years. So
in Halifax?
I think so. Yeah, it's like USA, Canada, Sweden, Finland has a couple. Sweden has a few. Canada and USA have dominated the playing field for a long time. Russia's won a bunch like over the years, but in the last decade or two they haven't won shit. So for you to sit there and say like, because they always dominate the tournament, same as the Swedes. Swedes lost their first round robin game last year in Halifax in like 4 or 5 tournaments.
Yeah.
They just can't get over the hump. Same with Russia. It's just when it comes down to that nitty gritty, they just can't get over it, which Canada couldn't do this year either. But I wanted to touch on Furlong as well, about him apologizing. That tells me everything you need to know about Canada as a whole and how much pressure we put on these 17-year-old kids. For him to have to apologize, he didn't have to, but he thinks that, you know, they all think they let the nation down, which in our heads they do, but it's the next day you don't give a shit, you know what I mean? They did blame it on Bonk for a little bit, but he tipped a shot.
Remember when Buddy missed in the shootout a few years ago? Was it Comtois? And people roasted him online from Canada.
That was
those
like
are the
4 or
lower
5 years
Yeah,
ago,
those are the lower points.
Wasn't it Virtanen? No, Virtanen in
definitely
2017 took a
got it.
penalty
Yeah.
late, and people lit him up
Yeah.
to the point where he deleted all his social media and stuff. Oh
See,
yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. You can't be doing that.
like they make the players turn their social medias off during the tournament. I'm pretty sure.
I would not have social media, period, if I was a pro athlete. I barely have it now. Like, why would you even bother with that stuff?
Because they're still kids, right? Like those, you got to think these guys in the NHL are younger than us, and they've grown up with their phones, right?
Dude,
like,
imagine you when you were 17 with social media letting down the nation.
I can tell you what, bud, I wouldn't
be going back.
I wouldn't be sitting here if we did have social media. So I'm thankful for that.
That's such a funny image.
Yeah.
Dude takes a penalty late in overtime.
In the World
Gold medal.
Juniors.
Which I've done. Not in World Juniors, though.
You'd be
obviously.
tweeting back at him, though.
He'd
From
be
the
on
box.
He'd be on the bus eating pizza, just tweeting back. What the fuck?
You play a game.
Couple beers.
Wait till you meet my buddy Tommy from Fairview.
Bossy, pull over. I'm meeting someone here. I'm gonna fight him. No, but you know, it's the great thing about the World Juniors is that they happen every year, boys. So don't worry, we'll be back. Where is it? Minnesota next year?
No,
Yeah.
it's Ottawa next year, and then
Oh, yeah.
Minnesota the next year.
Ottawa next year.
Yes. Let
Anyways,
it go.
we'll see what happens with that.
See you
but-
there.
What's that?
See you there.
Are you going?
Oh, yeah.
We all are.
We all
Ottawa.
Yeah. Didn't you hear? We're all going.
What was that?
Oh, it's the mic.
All right, calm down.
Scared the shit out of me though.
What camera are you on right now? One.
Take it away.
Willy Nylander. They're saying that what are they, 11.5 for 8 years,
Yeah, it's like 11.8 for 8 years or something like
and
that.
they're saying that they're gonna it's gonna be official today or tomorrow.
I just saw that. What's his name? Elliot Friedman said that the Leafs were closing in.
Reliable source.
Yeah. You
And the
think?
cap's going up by what?
It says hearing Toronto and William Nylander closing in on 8 times $11.5 million extension, full no move clause all the way through. Could be the largest contract in Leafs history, it says. So,
Leafs love their Swedes, man.
there's a bunch of takes on this. People have all kinds of opinions. I don't know. You said it in the car, like you're a right winger. Come on, like it's a lot of money. He's played well, dude. He's the best Leaf right now.
I know.
But I mean, you got to look at it. Clearly, they know a lot more than we do, boys. But
He deserves the money, but
where does the rest of the money go?
It's already gone.
That's what I mean.
Don't they have like 40% of their salary into the 4 players or 5 players?
They do now, but if Willie signs this, they'll have Matthews, Nylander, Marner, and Tavares.
Riley.
Riley's at 7, but just with those 4 big horses, 40+ mil.
Oh, to what? Like
they're
92?
gonna have to trade
98, I think
They're
it
gonna have
is.
to trade Tavares.
Well, who's going to take Tavares' contract unless Toronto eats it? But then they're in the exact same spot, so you might as well just keep Tavares, you know? Like,
San Jose,
Arizona's the team that eats cap.
Arizona.
But it's like, you're not going to send John Tavares, one of the illustrious players of the league in history, to just go rot somewhere. So I'm not saying you go to Arizona to rot, but when you're ditching a guy's contract, you're sending him to rot. Right?
Definitely.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Tavares is going to have a say where he goes. I'm pretty sure he probably has a no-move clause.
Oh.
Right? So it's like, it's tough, right? And the Leafs are the first team to get under the microscope, too.
Yeah.
So
Leadership is one of those things that plays a key role in hockey. Maybe not so much in I don't even know if they do captains in basketball or football. Leadership goes a long way in the game of hockey. And obviously he's a great leader, so from what people say. He's built for it. I don't know. Is he worth that money? You got to keep a room together. You need leadership. Man, the NHL, the egos in a locker room, you need a captain that's there saying, boys, what the fuck were you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, and Tavares is old school like that too,
Yeah,
right?
you hear stories, I'm not going to get into it, but you hear stories of good leaders and you hear stories of bad leaders, and you need a good leader in an NHL locker room to win a cup. So maybe he is worth the money. I don't know, but Willy Nylander making 11 point whatever for 8 years,
that's your future. No move clause.
One round he's got past one round.
Yeah.
So it's going up to 87 million the cap, 87.7.
Sid.
Right now it's at 83. So
like he is the best player on the team. It's just crazy. Like for years and years.
He's not the best player on the team.
he is currently.
Like
Okay.
every time you talk to a Leafs player, well, Nylander's pretty good, most consistent. But like historically, centers and number 1D, those are the guys who get 10 plus mil. And obviously the cap's going up, more money, everything.
Maybe
but
wingers are
it is-
revolutionizing the game.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
right-handed
it's just
shots,
crazy.
man. I'm telling you right now, it's
Making a
unheard
comeback.
of.
I'm making a comeback.
Like I have a couple buddies and they have kids playing hockey and he's like, yeah, he's shooting right and that should help him. And I'm like, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like shoots right, left, straight, who cares? Like, but it's true. Like how many times have you heard on TSN or any of the panels and like, can't get a right-handed D-man. Like that's why Dobson, as much as
Barron's
he's good,
right-handed too, I
that's
think.
right.
Yeah.
And that's why if you notice, if you put Barron, who's a great prospect, don't get me wrong, he's playing great. But if you give a left-handed defense that same scenario, you're probably not going to see him up as long as Barron. I'm telling you right now, there's a shortage, epidemic of right-handed shot stars.
Yeah.
I just said to him on the way in here, if he's a left winger, Willie, they may look at it differently. I'm probably wrong, but I'm just thinking all the right-handed stuff I hear talking, like even golf now. How many left? Like I play in groups that are only lefties.
I'm a righty.
That's right. You're like one of the only righties other than Alds that I play golf with.
Oh, yeah.
It's nuts. It's
I
just
love
the way it is.
That's a weird one. I never thought of it from that perspective. Righty.
Yeah.
Righty's the right way, though. I like it. It's fun. It's
if
a
you-
good
Yeah. I was
OT
just
goal
gonna
in Gatineau. Shot right. Went in.
If you play fantasy hockey, you know that there's not a lot of right wingers.
none.
Like there's so many left wingers and centers, and then if you can get good right wingers, you hold on to them all season. Like it just even it's something as stupid as that. It just shows you.
Yeah.
So if you can get Nylander, who's scoring that well as a right winger, maybe it is more valuable.
When I saw him last year in Montreal, Nylander, he was the most exciting player to watch on the ice because he was always dangerous.
Yeah.
It didn't matter where he was. He's one of those guys that like looks like he doesn't try, but he's a weird player, but is just so effective. And every time he had the puck, you were more nervous when the puck was on his stick compared to Matthews.
Yeah.
He was very unpredictable. When Matthews had the puck, you knew what was going to happen. Shot on net guaranteed.
Yep.
Willy, you don't know if he's passing, you don't know if he's shooting, you don't know what he's doing. And the corners, you're not really doing too much with him, but
If you can even touch him there.
fair enough. But he was just one of those weird players that like looked like he didn't lift his skates when he skated, but for some reason blew past the defender and got weird, random, tight shots on net. And you're always like dangerous. You're always worried when he had the puck. He's a weird player, but he was fun to watch because he brought out the unpredictability in a hockey game, and that's kind of what you want as a fan. Anything can happen.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it was cool to watch, but. Hey man, I'm not gonna sit here and knock a guy for making 11 point whatever mil.
get your
Congrats,
dollar.
Willie. He's wearing a wife beater on the talk show talking to Madison.
Getting
Beer.
fondled by an old lady. She's like, wow, your muscles.
You do what you got to do, Willie. He's sitting on a subway, you sitting on the subway train, texting. Got a
He's
commercial
sitting
from
in traffic.
Rogers out
He
of
is
it.
pretty cool, isn't he?
Yeah, and
He's a
it's
cool
the
guy.
Leafs love their Swedes, man. They
Yeah.
do. They really do.
Sundin probably put a good word in for
And
him.
it started with Borgie Soloming, right?
Yes.
R.I.P., but
Yeah.
which is a new documentary out about him
That
now.
looks good.
I heard it was good. Did you see it?
No, but I'm gonna watch
I heard
it.
it's good.
But yeah, like you said about him skating,
a weird
they did just a slow mo clip of a replay of him entering the zone on the power play, and you're right, he doesn't like
Waddles.
he almost just like it almost looks like his blades are coming off the ice like not even an inch.
But you can't get the puck from him
No.
because he's going. His feet are so wide, his core is so strong. He's almost like Sid in a sense, but his stance is wider, and he goes like this. When he has the puck, he's out like this.
Yep.
Like
He's baiting you.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then when you commit to him, exactly tight over to Matthews.
Or he goes that way, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very.
You know what's funny? Actually, Wig and I had this conversation. I finally got Wig chatting about the old days, right? We were reminiscing a little bit at his house the other day when you called, actually, and we were talking about how I used to fucking skate around and make fun of you and midget and warm up.
Yeah, yeah.
But then we broke it down.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you're on Willie Nylander's level, but it's similar. Like you would almost have your chest going every which way,
Yeah.
but your feet would already be set to where you want to go. So whether you go down on the defenseman, your chest is going right. They're taught to look at your chest, but your feet are already turned left.
Yeah.
So you look like you're going right, and then all of a sudden you cut back and left. So that's why we always made fun of you for juking, but it's so unpredictable.
You know where I got that?
Where?
Lacrosse.
That's what Wig said too. He's like, his lacrosse did
100%, because that was I was always quick.
Yep.
But I was better in terms of being one step ahead of the defender.
Mm-hmm.
So because all you have to do is put your body language one way and think the other way. You just beat now two guys. You beat the guy who's on you, and you beat the guy who you just passed to, who's defending that person. Because my teammates eventually caught on to how, what is it, antidextrous I was, or like
Ambidextrous.
ambidextrous.
Being able to play both sides.
Sure.
Yeah.
My teammates eventually caught on to how ambidextrous I was. And then all of a sudden you got 2-on-1s all over the floor because I got a guy committing to me. And now someone usually is beating the corner because that defender thinks I'm passing this way. So he's committing that way, but I know I'm passing this way. So I don't know. And then when it came to hockey, I remember training camp just came in when I was younger, maybe around Bantam.
Yeah.
And I just remember I was always afraid to get hit. I don't know, whatever, laugh, haha.
We've been over this.
Yeah.
You know, and I just remember that always helped me of getting away from hits was my body language looking one way, but thinking the other way. Sometimes it hurt me because I used to give away sometimes some bad passes, but for the most part, it allowed me to free up some space in getting everyone in the rink, even my parents, thinking I'm going that way, but I'm thinking that way.
It was sometimes hard to play with, though, like at the beginning.
For sure. That's why I love Bolin, because he knew it.
Right,
Yeah,
and that's we ended up talking about that too, the Killer Bees, right? But it was just
Shout out to
like
Boots, too.
I always made fun of you at the time, but I obviously want you to score 40 points, which is what you were doing. But when you get used to how you play, I start to look when I play with you even now in shinny. I watch your feet.
Yeah.
I don't watch your chest or the puck because
Tells the
you're
story.
pulling it. So if I look and see your feet going left, I'm like, okay, I got to go to the right lane, right? But you also have to play with guys that can turn on a dime. But you're right, it's safety. Everyone's always like, oh, dudes was shifty. He was crafty. I'm like, no, I was trying not to get killed. And those things just translate into moves when really you're just a pussy, right? Like that's just how it was. But yeah, it was. It's weird, and that's kind of how Willy is. He's just like, and even McDavid has that kind of like. Doesn't look like he's getting on you, and then all of a sudden he blows by you. He's just taking those long, powerful strides. But Willy's like this, and it doesn't. He looks like he's in can skate in the morning.
McDavid can afford to make a mistake though. Like if he fucks up a pass or something, he can afford to mess up that pass because he knows he can get the puck back in 2 seconds by a little,
or getting there first.
You know, so like he's a guy. But I don't know if Willy can afford it, but he still rarely makes mistakes. Not that McDavid does. Relax. Just he can just like afford to like I don't know make a mistake mid play, get it back in his skate, get it to his stick.
He's an anomaly, is what he
yeah,
is, right? Willy's also just doesn't want to wreck his hair either, right? So he doesn't want to go.
I don't blame him. He's trying to get a Head and Shoulders contract. He got the
right.
Rogers, Head and Shoulders.
Anyways,
the boys are buzzing. Congrats to Willy Nylander. Or it's not, I shouldn't say congrats. He still hasn't got it yet. But you know, whatever it is, congrats. And how are you? I had a great topic lined up. I just forgot it. Oh man, yes. Brad Marchand's comment on Sid. I hate to fondle Sid nuts again on this podcast, but I'm sorry, Sid. I got to do it. Did you see what he said?
No.
You're not. Maybe you just put your earmuffs on, Jeff. Did you hear? Did you see?
That he's the best player in the league.
Yeah, 200-foot game. He goes, if you consider the 200-foot NHL game, Sid's the best player in the league.
Well, I'm never gonna put a bad word on Sid's name. So continue.
Well, he's right. That's all I had to say.
Okay.
yeah, he is right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of spooky that he's right because you would think at this point of Sid's career, with 36, you would think that there would be something in his game that would fall off. Something.
Man, I don't know. The only thing that's changed from Sid's game is he started out as a crybaby, they said, and now he just doesn't do any of that. You know? You don't see any of the bad emotions. You don't see any of the bad language or whatever.
Did you see what Getzel said, too, in the post-game? Like, Getzel was like, you know, he's just a tremendous leader, tremendous guy, tremendous hockey player. But the thing that's so tremendous about him is his consistency to do all these things great each and every day, on the ice, off the ice. And it's true. Like, you know, I'm sure all three of us have our weeks where we crush it. Mm-hmm. But every now and then, boys, we need a day to... I don't know. I'm not the best some days.
Have a stinker?
You know, but if you're Sid and you're in Pittsburgh and you're walking around, you're every day you need to be Sidney Crosby. You need to be Sid.
It's a lot of effort,
It's a lot of effort. And to be able to do it, it's superhero level status. Each and every single day. Leading. Guys coming up to you, looking for advice. How does my kid become good at hockey? What is it like to be the best player in the world? What is it? They said that about Gretzky. He's like, who was it? I think Paul Coffey said, I remember playing with Gretzky for however many years I played for. Each and every single night, each and every single day after practice, a reporter asked him, what's it like to be the best player in the world? And Gretzky would answer with poise, kindness, politeness, whatever it was, even though he had that question asked to him each and every day. And now imagine at the level we're at in terms of media, way bigger than Gretzky's era, way bigger. And still Sid has that calm demeanor about him to answer these questions each and every single day and perform on the ice. It's freakish. It's just absolutely insane. It's awesome to see because the guy comes from right there. I see his house right there across the Cole Harbor, right there.
$1.25 away.
You pay the bridge, so you don't even have to pay the $1.25. You just go behind the guy. The bridge the gate opens. You just kind of go really quick. You can cheat right through. You don't even have to pay $1.25. But if you're a good human being like Sid is, he's from right over there.
Yeah,
it's crazy to think about. It makes me proud to be from here each and every day. Home of Sidney Crosby.
When he's done, it'll be because he decides he's done, not because he's aged out of the league.
He could be
he could be 45 playing.
He could be the Yager of the NHL.
Yeah,
he could be 60 playing for the Pens.
It's when he wants to not play.
Gordie Howe, yeah.
He was the oldest NHLer actually.
You ever see that guy with his shirt off? Some of those photos.
Gordie Howe.
He's like a farmer. He's just.
I'm pretty sure he smoked and stuff too. Which
he was
is
like
nuts.
the first guy to train for hockey, back when it just wasn't a thing.
Or same maybe with the Sutters too back then because they lived on that farm.
Yeah,
but that's afterwards.
I don't even know if they thought it was training. It was just now. Okay, I got to work in the summer now.
Well, because a lot of that back then, obviously, you weren't making the money. Like you're not making the $20 million a year like Willy now. But there's obviously more money in the game. But what I'm saying is back then, like it was similar to the CFL. Like these guys could not work, I'm sure, and get by, but I'm pretty sure like these guys, a lot of them had family farms. That's just kind of how it was in Western Canada back then. So you just had to go home and work, and that's what guys got used to. Like play in the NHL, go back home, work, get your workouts in, make some extra money, help the family, and then go back to the NHL. Now it's off season is whatever. You do your yoga every day, and it's all about hockey. I'm not saying they don't pay attention to their families, but none of them have secondary jobs.
No,
you know what I mean? Like it's not. They're not making $30K a year. It's like they're millions and millions.
Yeah, and and hockey historians know Hal got screwed over more than anyone when it came to money back in the day. Oh yeah, him and the Red Wings still. It took years to repair that relationship because of how bad. Because they wouldn't tell what other players are making. So Gordie Howe never knew.
There's no capgeek.com.
No, there was no insiders, no Bob McKenzie. So they just didn't know. And then 10 years later, you're like, oh, I've been getting paid less than the guy scoring a third of my points in Toronto.
Can you imagine?
And
there's probably no there's probably no commercial deals back then. There's
no man.
Gordie Howe's moving
Gretzky,
couches.
I think, like around that time.
What was that commercial where the guy? What?
I'm looking at Gordie Howe's salaries over the years.
What is it? What is it?
In his rookie season, as a 17-year-old rookie, which is nuts, he signed a contract with the Detroit Red Wings for $2,200 for the season, plus a $500 signing bonus to play for their farm club, the Omaha Knights. And then it says, so earnings then $2,700 today would represent $45,000. But even his net worth, Gordie Howe's net worth earnings, and this is probably just hockey, not all the other shit, $3 million.
His whole career?
That's what he was worth, his hockey fortune. Now, translate that into today's worth, and it has that here, $19.5 million, which even still is a fraction of like one guy's yearly rate, right? So like they go through the whole thing here. 47, he made 5,000, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is year after year. They just give him $1,000 more.
And he's the best player in the league.
And then finally in 1970, he signed a 2-year contract with the Red Wings for $100,000. And then got nothing after that.
Come on. Well, guys like Willy have him to thank. Like they got to be thanking Gordie Howe. They fought for these contracts, and now the boys are making 11 point whatever.
Right, even at his peak, $250K, and that's to act as a public relations ambassador for 5 years. Today, it only translates to $1.7 million. I say only, not let 1.7's chump change for me, but for guys that are making $10 million a year, $9 million, even league men's $950K or whatever it is, right? $750. So it's like pretty crazy. So you can see why they kind of just $1,000 more. You imagine score 50 tucks, get like 30 Gordie Howe hat tricks, and they're like, yeah, we'll chuck you an extra grand next year.
Oh man,
sick.
He was getting worked. He was getting worked. There was no NHLPA, none of that stuff.
Crazy to think about where the games come from. All the way
Pioneers.
back then, boys getting part-time jobs in the summer to now.
Best sport in the world.
I'm addicted to hockey. I love it.
Oh man, I'm bad.
Yeah,
I'm bad.
Coffee
boys.
and hockey. What more do you want?
I actually got a memory yesterday. It was after the IceJam, and I said something about I called 25 games. We were there all week, and then I got home. You know what I did? I watched hockey.
It's funny. Yeah. So what's the day that the IceJam's over on the 10th?
14th.
The 14th. So I looked at the score app and I was like, what games are the 14th that night? Because I know I'm going to want to come home and watch another broadcast that isn't High Button Sports. I got excited. And there's actually, I forget who's playing, but there's a good game on. I can't wait to come home, sit my ass on that couch and just watch something else other than us.
I'm glad to be addicted to hockey and coffee, though, because it used to be cigarettes and booze.
Oh, man, if you look around the world, there's so many other bad addictions out there. So for us to have hockey as a vice, coffee as a vice, I'm set. I'm good on that.
Mm-hmm. I'll take bad gut health for a little bit.
The other day, our pond is frozen out front there. There's kids playing. It's kind of creepy, but there's kids playing out front. I sat there and watched it. Probably like 30 minutes, just a bunch of kids playing hockey. Just sat there, just looking, just dreaming. I was like, I could have went out. It was just too cold, but I was just hockey, just kids playing hockey.
It's funny
awful.
that you say that to
ankle
me.
skaters, like the worst hockey you've ever seen in your entire life, but they're out there, and I'm like, oh no, pass it.
You
know, like I'm
shoot! Oh, come on!
I'm just there from my bedroom window, peeking through the curtain. Just no.
Hey, now you know why they're not playing today.
Yeah.
Mom, there was a guy watching me from the bedroom window.
Exactly why.
You could have went out and taught him the hips, man.
I should have.
You know.
Yeah.
And I random thought, but I also thought about, okay, could I run an Ethernet cord from here to that? Could we set it up? Could we I'm just the business mind starts going.
The guy wants to set up an
idea.
Ethernet cord everywhere.
Yeah. Get an Ethernet cord from here to punch bowl pond, you think?
But pond hockey, man, few and far between your opportunities.
Yeah, global warming.
You just don't get it, you know. But it's funny that you said it's too cold to play pond hockey.
It was
but
freezing.
we bitch and complain about it not being cold enough for pond hockey, and then when we get cold, we're like, it's too cold out there.
It was freezing.
Like, what were kids? Parents back in the day, man, they're like, drop you off at, what's that golf club there?
Drop you off. You're lucky if you get dropped off.
The arm on the rotary there, what's it
Ashburn.
called? Ashburn. They're like, see ya.
Yeah.
Jump the fence across the highway when you want to come home.
I didn't even get to see it. I just got, all right, I'm walking.
Yeah, they're like
I remember Grant Fraser's place there?
Yeah, the tennis court?
Yeah, I remember walking from Birdland to there. Probably like a 2-hour walk. Just snow, didn't care. Not good boots, snow all on my feet, freezing. By the time I only bring one pair of socks.
Crying by the time you get there.
No, by the time I get there, I'm psyched. I don't get because then you skate and you warm up.
They also had that shed too with the heat, the fireplace and stuff in it. So.
I would walk anywhere. Maskwell was another good one because they got the dock, so you just tie your skates up on the dock and.
Way you go.
Yeah. How much time are we at? Sorry about this.
46.
47-26.
Yeah, how'd you do that?
I'm never very far off.
It's interesting.
I don't know. It's random, but like.
So he was off by seconds?
A minute and a half.
Yeah.
That's pretty. That's still seconds.
90 seconds.
If you think about it, everything is a second. Everything's seconds.
I always do that
90
commentating.
seconds.
Well, that's how parents tell you how old their kids are. They're like, oh, he's 7.5 million minutes old. And you're like, oh, sick. Can you tell me in years?
Yeah. He's 74 months old. That's 5. Yeah.
That's an old Mark Moffat commentating trick. Whenever you get to 1:30, you go 90 seconds left in the period.
It's more
Makes
jazz.
It sound a little jazz. It's like, oh, it was a minute and a half left. Like, no.
He's actually really
seconds.
good at that in counting backwards. Like if I say all the goals scored at, it's not 2 minutes into the period unless it's on 18 flat. I am dog shit at getting the numbers right. Unless it's like 1945 or like 1745. It's like 2:15 or whatever. But I'm always like. 4. I'm like, anyways, 19:20 left in the second period, you know, but it's just like, it's tough to do on the fly.
The amount of shitty jokes made over like, oh, well, I'm not a mathmatician, I'm a commentator. Me and you have broken those out a couple times.
This is
just
embarrassing.
butchering numbers.
It's like 2 + 9, and you're like, 4, 10, 12. You can hear me thinking on the mic. 11. That's 11 seconds in.
That's the thing with our business. We got to make mistakes in front of people. But if you're cool with that,
it's true.
That's one thing that builds thick skin. Like we make mistakes in front of people.
Like when I get chirped for not moving the camera quick enough in person because you say,
who does that? Oh, the switcher.
The switcher.
Didn't you say you got called out the other day?
I did.
Who called you out?
I don't know. Just a dad at the rink, man. Like, oh, listen to the pod. You got to be quicker on the switcher.
Shout out to that dad. He does need to be quicker. Is it on me?
You're on.
There we go. All right. He does need to be quicker on the switcher.
Without a doubt, the one guarantee from the podcast is you ask him what camera he's on. I love it. It's just like part of our thing,
Well, because when I started the podcast, I did this thing, and I'd go.
Have I gotten worse at it? Because I've been doing the pod for like 2.5 years.
To be honest, I don't even watch. I just look at your fingers. I go, okay, am I talking? I'm on 1. Dudes is talking. He's on 2. You're talking. You're on 3.
It's just the way she goes, bud. Hey.
Yeah.
Anyways.
She goes.
But no, I'm excited for this upcoming week. tons of work, but I love this work. It's, it's not that December was slow, but it was slow. No, it
was slow.
It was slow. I just like being busy because you're busy. That means you don't have time to think. You got to go.
Yeah,
I got a wedding to pay for. I got shit to do. I got the life to go to. Like, it's just, there's so much to do, so much to see that you have to put this level of work in order to get to, I guess, the next level of the company. And it's not a level I'm afraid of because we got a good team.
Yeah.
We got a good group of people here at High Button Sports is the name of the company we're calling it. So if everything works out according to plan from now all the way till one of those baseball tours,
June. We'll be right from the meltdown, probably right into baseball. So
now till like July.
Well, no, it'll be August, September. No, maybe October. Baseball goes that long.
But hockey picks up in October
And September.
So we got no time off.
No, bud. So welcome to the real world.
Well, I'm quitting. I don't sign up for that.
You told me I'd have 2 weeks vacation.
Time to head back to the hotels.
I'm quitting.
I'll put a report into PR. Give it to Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, is it PR? Yeah,
Public
HR.
relations.
HR.
Well, that's human relations, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, PR is public relations. He's right. HR. We're idiots.
Yeah, but if I want time off, who do I report to?
Your boss.
Okay.
Your manager on duty.
But no, like if you know what I mean. If I'm working a job and I want
you have an issue.
But if I want time off,
The manager makes the schedule.
If someone touches your arse or something at work or something, that's when you go to HR. Right? Or someone's disrespecting
and then
to her.
PR is like press conferences.
That's when you go to Double M.
That's right.
You get the butt squeeze.
That's it. He wouldn't stand for that. Not for a second.
No one would stand for that. That's not good.
One thing before we do sign off here shortly, we got to give a shout out to our girl Rye Stewart.
Yes.
Cape Breton West Islanders, former U16 AAA Cabot Highlander as well, which I found out, representing Canada at the U18 World Women's, I think it's called, Women's Worlds. Also Jessica McKinnon from Nova Scotia as well. She shouldn't be left off the list. But Rye Stewart, what can you say, man? She does it at the U18 level. We went through her numbers at the Canada Games. She only let in 9 goals in some of the most important games of her life.
Wow.
Really put her on the map if she wasn't already. She got player of the game yesterday in an 8-1 win versus Czechia. Stopped 23 of 24 shots. I'm a stats guy. But, man, you want to talk about an up-and-coming star from Nova Scotia. They had a little blurb about her the other day, and they got each player to put one word that would describe them, and hers was courageous.
No way.
Which I think is very accurate.
How old is she?
She is 17.
Yeah,
probably.
last year of high school, I think.
So
use the word courageous.
Courageous,
Wow.
right? Which is very accurate in my opinion. This is my view of it. She took the step to play guys hockey.
Yeah.
There's girls hockey out there. I'm
Yeah.
not saying she shouldn't play guys hockey. I completely believe she's good enough to be there.
Yeah.
And she stops a shit ton of pucks. But the big thing, courageous, is that's to take that step and to be willing to be in the limelight. Like they interviewed her a couple times. Man, she's a kid, right?
She a good talker?
She is, but you can tell she's still kind of shy. But
Yeah.
she strikes me as the type of person that's not trying to do this to be in the limelight.
Yeah.
She just wants to stop biscuits. Literally, though. And then there was another thing underneath, and it was like, what's the best advice that you have been given over your career? And her response was stay in the moment.
Ooh.
So I think when you mix the courageousness and the staying in the moment advice that she lives by, it's a pretty damn good recipe, and I think she's proven that right now. So shout out to her, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think everyone could probably use a little stay in the moment
Yes.
in their day-to-day. That's pretty common. And she actually has an interview on the High Button Cape Breton channel with Brad at the start of the year. So if you want to see some more content and all of her, the home games heading into the second half, they'll be on the Cape Breton channel. So shout out there.
And I am going to apologize in advance if you do see me at the IceJam and you do try to say hello and I don't say hello back. It is because my head is in another world. It's not because I don't like you. It's not because anything. It's just because you have to understand we got 6 rinks going. We have over 15 people running at one time. It's just up to me to manage it and to make sure everything is running smooth. So I apologize in advance if you see me and you try to pull me aside and I don't have time. That is why, because I know what I get like, and I'm apologizing. That's fair, I think, to put out right now.
Yep.
Okay.
See you there.
Yeah, we'll see you there. So yeah, it starts this Wednesday, the 10th, all the way to the 14th, I believe.
Yes, sir.
The Sunday. Weather looks good, so I'm pretty sure I should knock on wood.
Actually, weather's looking for some wet snow and rain on Wednesday. So there you go.
Well, hopefully the
you there.
teams from Newfoundland come in tomorrow. Hopefully.
You laugh about that, but that would be very bad if they didn't.
Yeah, I know. What happened?
You got to
a
keep
year
the
ago.
schedule the same.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I never.
It's all right, boys. We're good. Don't matter what happens.
Yeah,
Throw it
we're-
at us. But please
We're not
don't.
worrying about things that haven't even happened yet.
Nope.
Yeah, Michael
Live in the
Jordan used to
moment.
say that. He goes, "Why would I worry about missing a shot? I haven't even taken it."
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much once again. These listeners, you guys are incredible. Thank you very much. We go absolutely nowhere if it isn't for you listening, watching, commenting, doing whatever you do. And also whenever we go to the rinks and you guys mention the podcast and say how much you love it, that means the world to us. I know it means the world to me. Maybe not Jeff, because they chirped Jeff about the switcher, but I know it means the world to dudes and everyone else. So thank you very much. We are out. Peace.
See you at the IceJam.
Yeah.